Well, hey there, wine fans. It's Wine Shark with you here again for another Wine Shark op-ed. Today we're going to talk about tastes and teaching. I keep getting questions regarding things that we like and things that we don't, and I wanted to put out a video to kind of talk about where teaching and tastes coincide and how I personally take the approach to dealing with these issues. So, like you guys see up at the banner, Wine Shark is about wine education and entertainment. I love being an educator and being able to share an opportunity with my students to help expand their world of wine and to be there when they are discovering something that I have a true passion for. I love being an entertainer because successful teaching involves making sure people enjoy that process. There's a lot of details that you can shove into your head, and it can be very dull and dry without the proper format and function. And I love being an entertainer, helping people with that, and making you guys laugh and enjoy wine for what it is. However, those can be at cross purposes when it comes to the concept of enjoyment of wine. Counterintuitively, my role is not to find wines that you like. When you hire me to come and do a tasting, I'm not there to make sure that every wine that is there is something that you enjoy, which sounds kind of odd. But the reason is it's kind of impossible because you are a taster of one. If I give you a wine that you absolutely love, the person next to you may have very different tastes and not like the wine at all. If you like Sauvignon Blanc and they simply don't like Sauvignon Blanc, well then we're kind of at an impasse. So it's impossible for me to build curriculum, shows, and tastings around the concept of stuff you love. Unless, of course, we're doing something that's very specific that is, hey, it's your celebration day and we're just going to pick these 6 wines that we know you like, which, while could be very interesting, but probably isn't expanding your wine vocabulary very much and certainly not a very interesting education opportunity. So the 2 things that I primarily focus on, of course, are the science of wine and the art of wine, and the Venn diagram of where these things meet. When we talk about the science of wine, we're talking about the technical facts, the observables, the objective facts, the stuff like where the wine was grown, what grape it's made from, the alcohol by volume, the wine making techniques that are used within it. It's pedantic and geeky and neat and interesting, well, at least to some of us, and there's a lot of detail. And it is indeed very objective, and there's scientific stuff that goes along with it. However, where we spend the bulk of our time in our classes, you'll find, are people talking about the art of wine, and you'll hear me talk about that particular thing. And not only when it comes to winemaking and the winemaking process, we talk about the whys and hows of winemakers and how they make their choices. We talk about the spirit and the energy and the people, about how they particularly want to produce wines that represent them and the products that they've been doing either for themselves or for generations. But also because wine is a personal interpretation of taste. We talk about specific chemical compounds that are designed to evoke particular aroma responses in your brain, but not everybody tastes the same. No 2 tasters are identical, and therefore even that language of taste at the scientific level comes down to a certain subjectivity, comes down to a level of threshold of detectability, things like that. So the art of wine, though, is where you find the love and the passion happening. It's where we get into these excellent conversations, debates, and discussions about what we are tasting, how that impacts it, why they might have made those choices, and that part. Okay, that's the really where I think the rubber meets the road when it comes to wanting to learn more about wine. So if you enjoy a wine I serve, that is an awesome byproduct, but it's not my goal. If you dislike a wine I serve, that's an unfortunate side effect, but again, it's not my goal. In my classes, I strive to find good examples of the styles that we're trying to educate about. For instance, we're going to go and do, say, wines of Spain. We're going to find the best Spanish examples that I can for the particular varieties that I can within the budget that we can. We're going to make sure that the wines you have are high quality, they aren't flawed, and they aren't in some way inferior, cutting corners, or just happen to have the right label on them. So I know that I'm serving high quality wines in the first place. That is a 100% guarantee that I make sure that I give. The next thing is if I'm successfully communicating to you the science, then we get to have that conversation about art, and that productive conversation is a product of both parts. So your success is my second goal. Making sure that you understand the science part to a level that we can have the art discussion is goal number 2. So oddly and irreverently, I end up enjoying wines almost more often than most of my customers for whatever reason, simply because I have a very broad appreciation for wine, and there are very few styles of wine that I don't like. So I often find myself at odds with customers because I look at them and they're saying, well, I don't like this wine. I'm like, I don't understand why you don't. I think it's great. But that's just a personal opinion. Once again, it's just a matter of what I like versus what you like. You'll find that I often use analogy, and I use the world of music and art to discuss the art of wine and the appreciation of wine, because I like to have those analogies to separate us from what we think about of other things that involve physical taste, right? So comparing to food, beer, spirits, those are not, those I think are too close to home. Instead, if we think outside the box and we think about other things that we appreciate subjectively, like say music, I think it's a great example for us to find comparatives. In other words, you could use a very analytical and technical demonstration of how somebody plays the blues guitar. And then you could still have the same discussion of whether you like the song they played or whether you like the blues at all. The wine equivalent there is, whether you like Sauvignon Blanc or not, whether the style was on point or not, or whether you like the decisions that the winemaker made. So you'll find that kind of conversation to be, I think, the deeper end of the pool and the far more interesting part of studying wine. So, in the bottom line, I really hope that you enjoy what we do, and I know that we can assure you that we're going to get you good quality wines, but it's not to mean to say that everything you're going to put in your mouth is going to be your favorite wine ever. It just is going to be part of the fact and part of the journey. I hope that you use those examples to learn what you don't like, how to avoid those things when you're trying to select wine. I'm not saying that you should have, a palate like mine where almost everything is grand. Right? That's okay too. You can have your favorites and just enjoy those, and I'll help you find them as well. That is certainly within the realm of possibilities and an easy goal for me to help you understand. So tell me in the comments about your balances versus taste and teaching. Which one is more important when you go search for wine? Is it just because you're looking to find the same thing over and over again, or are you trying to expand your palate, or is it just because you're looking to have a bottle of wine that you really enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what we're doing, hit that like button and subscribe, and tell a wine-loving friend. And if you really like what we're doing, check us out over on Patreon. There's lots of unique content over there that you're not going to see on YouTube or Facebook. And of course, it keeps this shark swimming in the right direction. So until next time, cheers.